Hey everybody, welcome to BigBlackHatMan's Western Movie Show. Oh, I'm here. Sorry I was late. Wallace, what are you doing here? Well, your usual co-host said he couldn't take another John Wayne review with you, so here I am. Do you realize how nonsensical and meta it is for you, Wallace, to replace my alternate personality? Honestly, I try not to think about it. Yeah. Let's just start the show. Dun, dun, dun. Today, we're talking about the 1959 film Rio Bravo. Oh, I heard that Mr. Quentin Tarantino loves this movie. Well, yes, he does. It's one of his favorite westerns. It has quite the standing amongst Hollywood's elite. Ha! Wonderful! A real authority on a classic film, a film with such grace and eminence and cowboys and shooting, I assume. Horses? So, have you actually ever seen this film? Well, you know, I have a very busy schedule. I have commitments behind the webcam, which I haven't done for several months. I have many things that I'm committed to, and, you know, I've seen the trailer on YouTube. So the answer would be, no. Well, yes, that's correct. The answer is no. Okay, well, whatever. So what's the story of Rio Bravo? Well, it's actually a pretty straightforward one. John Wayne, Dean Martin, and Ricky Nelson are being held up in a town by some random bad guys because they've put his brother in jail. And then they go at it. I should probably tell you a little more than that. Well, okay, so this movie is a sort of locked box film, right? An assault film, right? So it's something that's become fairly popular at the time. This was still kind of new, and in fact it was sort of a pioneer in this sort of idea, right? The good guys are all pushed into a corner, right? They're all pushed into this prison where John Wayne, Walter Brennan, and Dean Martin, and then they add Ricky Nelson, are fighting off the bad guys to keep the brother who is guilty of a crime, the brother of this big rancher, from getting away, from getting away with it. And so they are pushed down, and the film has a really solid cast. Like I said, I've already named off a lot of the really good actors in it, and then the bad guys are they're kind of tradable. This film is definitely focused on the good guys, right? And because we spend a lot of time with them, in this sort of confined area. And one of the big key points of the film is that Dean Martin is an incredible drunk, and it's just, can he get over this long enough to withstand the pressure, and can he get over being a drunk in the midst of incredible pressure? Because that's what this is all about. This film is all about tension, moving closer and closer. We have Ward Bond shows up early in the film. John Wayne's good buddy. He's in a ton of John Wayne films. This was actually the last John Wayne film he was ever in. He unfortunately died shortly after this. He died in early 1961. So, last John Wayne film that featured Ward Bond, and his character is killed. So, after I get done talking about, lamenting the fact that he died shortly after this film, he's killed in the film too. And that's one of the things that really brings up the tension. It shows that the bad guys will do anything to get the brother out of prison, and that's where this whole film makes its hay, right? Is Howard Hawks directed and does a beautiful job of making you feel what the characters feel. And they don't go pure tension all the way through the film. It's not like a high noon sort of atmosphere where it's really crushing down on you, but it's always there, and it's always in the back of your mind that these characters' lives are not long for this world unless they can figure anything out. And that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to sort of find the back door. They're trying to find their way to get out of the bad situation they're in, but keep the brother from getting away. If he gets away, it doesn't matter, what happens. They won't just hand him over to the bad guys, because that's just not what they do. They're the good guys. And it's a very black and white film in that sort of sense, right? These guys are right, these guys are wrong, and that's what the audience has to grasp onto. Deeply psychologically, in a way as we build the tension. But you know, there's definitely looseness in this film. There's a nice little. Now you have Dean Martin and Ricky Nelson, so I guess what they do in the middle of the film, they sing, and actually Walter Brennan sings with them, which is kind of interesting. And it's a little non sequitur scene. In fact, that's one scene I've heard a lot of criticism for, but it's not that bad in my mind. It doesn't last very long, and it's actually kind of pleasant. They're all good singers, so you know, except for Brennan, who's just not much of a singer, but you can offset that. So this film, as I said, is just it's a tension film. You know, how are they going to get out of this bad situation? And it works really interestingly with sort of Wayne being the stoic character, Martin being the shaky one, and Nelson being the young kid, and Brennan being the guy past his prime. So they've kind of got all the elements there. That's the plot in a nutshell. Real straightforward, really easy to follow. Howard Hawks did a nice job with it, and it's been rinsed and repeated so many times. I'm sure you all know it pretty well, whether you've seen this film or not.
Yes, there'll never be another like Rio Bravo, with its thundering story of raw courage against overwhelming odds, and its once-in-a-lifetime combination of today's hottest star names.
Okay, I'm back. I watched the movie. Wow, good for you. You did the basic task you had to do in order to be a part of this video. Oh, I really enjoyed it. I really did enjoy it. It was, you know, it's almost like that Dean Martin really knew something about being a drunkard. Almost like, huh? Do you actually know anything about Dean Martin? Well, let's see here. What do I know about Dean Martin? Well, let's see how he's a singer and he's friends with that rascal Frank Sinatra. Rascal. Let's see, what else do I know about Dean Martin? Close enough. You know, close enough. Close. So Rio Bravo. What makes it a classic? Well, like I said, it set up this really interesting premise that has been used again and again. And so this whole good guys, you know, pinned down in a corner. I can't even count the number of movies it's been used in, and you all know it. I know it. What's interesting about Rio Bravo, it's actually a response to another movie. Like in YouTube videos when you get responses, this is a response to High Noon. I've already mentioned High Noon, and there's a reason for that. Now, it's not that Howard Hawks and John Wayne didn't like High Noon, it's that they didn't like a certain part of High Noon. Now the part they didn't like is very simple. They didn't like the professional, played by Gary Cooper, going around and asking everybody in town for help. They didn't like him trying to rope all these amateurs into it. They were firm believers the amateurs didn't belong in the fight. They would just get killed. They wouldn't work out. They would make things worse rather than better. So Rio Bravo goes out of its way for the main characters, you know, Wayne's character, to push the amateurs out of the way. You know, Ward Bond comes in and says, hey, I got all these guys and they can help. And Wayne quickly says, no, they're amateurs. We don't want them. Keep them out of the fight. They'll just be, you know, fodder for bullets and things like that. They will not help. And so these two guys weren't the only ones who didn't like it. In fact, Clint Eastwood didn't like it either. And in fact, in High Plains Drifter, it comes up in some other of his films. And I'll bring up High Plains Drifter sometime. We'll go over that one. But so what's going on here is that this film is about professionals against other professionals, right? The way that Wayne and Hawks felt it should be. You shouldn't have amateurs who don't know how to handle a gun involved. It should all be about the people who know what they're doing. And so not only do you have this, you know, tense situation, you have there's a reason it parallels High Noon, because it's intentional, right? They're intentionally responding to that movie. And like I said, they didn't think it was a bad movie. In fact, Wayne accepted Cooper's Academy Award for the film. Cooper was out of town, so Wayne went up there, and since they were friends, he accepted it for him. So it's not really they hated High Noon, they just didn't like the way it worked. And so Rio Bravo was a response to that. It's showing that no, it should be all about the professional men. And I really like both these movies. You know, which side you take is your business, but you know, I understand the point that they're making in this film, and it's a very interesting point, and it's interesting they made an entire film, and a film that became a huge classic just to make that point.
Not even a thank you do I get.
Maybe you're right, Stumpy.
Huh?
You're a treasure.
Well,
I don't know what I'd do without you.
Well, I really like this movie. Oh yes, you're completely correct. It's quite good. Well, that seems strange. What vexes you, BigBlackHatMan? Well, you know, I'm so used to being yelled at and chided that I'm not sure how to react to agreement. It just feels weird. Oh, I see. Well, I'll see what I can do about bringing that other guy back. It really is strange, isn't it? Okay then. Well, At any rate, Rio Bravo is a great film. For those who watch my top 10 westerns, you know it's one of my top 10 favorites, and it deserves it. It is a really excellent film. It has good acting, has a great story, it has a good atmosphere, the pacing's good. It's so good, Howard Hawks made it twice more. This is one of the jokes about Rio Bravo, unfortunately, as El Dorado and Rio Lobo, and they're Howard Hawks and John Wayne, and they're very similar films. And let me put it this way. El Dorado is actually pretty good. Instead of Dean Martin, we have Robert Mitchum playing the drunk. And Robert Mitchum's good. El Dorado is a little bit more forceful film, maybe a little bit less tense film. It doesn't build up the tension quite as well. Some of the acting's not quite as good. You have Arthur Honeycutt replacing Walter Brennan. And he's not bad, but it just overall, El Dorado's a little bit of a pale comparison to Rio Bravo. Now, it's still a really good movie, and it has one of my absolute favorite Robert Mitchum moments in it, and one day I want to talk about El Dorado, so I'm not going to give all that away. So there it is, but El Dorado, and then there's Rio Lobo. Don't watch Rio Lobo. I'm just encouraging you. If you haven't seen a lot of John Wayne films, there's so many great ones out there. Rio Lobo's it's okay. I mean, if you're like a big Wayne fan, it's like when you feel you need to watch to complete the whole Wayne experience. Watch Rio Lobo, but otherwise, I'm going to say go ahead and pass, because just watch Rio Bravo, and when you're feeling good about Rio Bravo, watch El Dorado, and then just go ahead and skip El Dorado, or Rio Lobo, I'm sorry. I'm getting myself confused with the three films, because they're all so similar. John Wayne joked that they were going to make it a fourth time, and he was going to play the drunk. So he didn't play the drunk in any of the first three, and the fourth one, he didn't play the drunk, but unfortunately or luckily, I don't know how you look at Howard Hawks quit making films, so he couldn't make a fourth one. He couldn't use that premise one more time. It's such a good premise, he used it three more times. He used it three total times. But so that's Rio Bravo. It's a really good film. I recommend you go out and see it. I hope you enjoy it. We'll see you again here on the Cinematic Range.